Welcome everybody, my name is missmazky, and for today's video I will be doing a digital art challenge versus a traditional art challenge. Now sadly my traditional art probably won't be as good compared to my digital art because I don't have the best equipment and the best lighting and all that, so I'm just working with what I have when I get to the traditional art. But starting off, I'm just doing my digital art and I'm using one of my creepypasta OCs. And I thought this would be a really fun challenge to do to kind of compare how different my digital art is, because I use it so often compared to my traditional art, which I rarely ever use. Well, I guess that's not completely true because I sketch all the time, but I never do like full art traditionally. I definitely feel like my traditional art would look a lot closer to my digital art if I had something like Copic markers and stuff, but all I have is a bunch of crappy markers and I don't usually work with markers, so I don't want to risk recording it and the markers bleeding and then it ruining the picture. So when I get to my traditional art, I'm just using a bunch of pencils that I have because that's the easiest thing to work with, although it doesn't look as close and as good as it would with like Copic markers or paint or something like that. I also don't have any whiteout or something that would be used good for highlighting, I guess. I'm not really sure how people do that in their traditional art. So I literally just took like a small little drop of like white acrylic paint, and then I took like a really thin and small brush and put like little dots of where I wanted it highlighted, and then I just kind of blended it out with a piece of a tissue because that's the best thing I could think of for highlighting, and it clearly doesn't look as good as my digital highlighting, but it's the best I could do. I was originally gonna do like the full body of this character, but I figured I would just do shoulders up because I'm just trying to give more of an example of what the differences are rather than, you know, a whole art piece. I think the main difference between the digital art and the traditional art, what makes it look like extremely different, is that when when you use pencils, it leaves like little white patches here and there and you can't really do much about it, and I don't really know how people go about blending it so well. But on digital art, it just, completely fills it in because, it's digital. There's not really anything that gets in the way of and leaves like white patches and stuff. And for my digital art, you already have all your brushes and proper equipment, and I tend to use very smooth and blended out brushes and, a lot of colors and highlighting, and when you use pencils and stuff, that's pretty hard to work with. Also, it is like really hard for me to record while drawing traditionally because I don't really have like a stand or a proper camera. Like I literally just record that with my iPod. So I have to like sit it up on drawers or like the bars on the top of my bed, and my bed like sits up, so I just like lay under my bed and draw. So I'm trying to like set all that up and, make a decent video at the same time. And it's not like I can, experiment around and see what would look better, because traditionally you can't just like boom, take something away like that. I mean, I guess there's erasers, but it can't like completely take something away. And I can't really pause my camera that I use, so it's not like I can just pause it and then go back and fix something if I screw up. And I didn't want to make the video too long and like mess up all my storage and all that. So I didn't really have time to get a lot of equipment together and figure out more ways to smooth out stuff. In fact, when I was recording, I forgot a few of the colors I needed to grab, like out of the box, but I brought like my whole pencil box up there with me. So while I was recording, I was like trying to like fling the box open as quickly as I could and like get all the pencils out, so the video wouldn't look like I forgot something, but kind of did. But yeah, point is, recording and drawing traditionally is quite a challenge. But yeah, I think the main reason why I wanted to do this challenge is that I wanted to show people the difference of what my digital art and traditional art looked like. Like, I wanted to kind of prove to people that I could, you know, still draw traditionally and that the computer doesn't just do everything, which it doesn't. I mean, it's still pretty difficult to draw digitally, and I had to learn quite a few things before it looked the way it does. In fact, for those of you that don't draw digitally, it actually is just as hard to draw digitally as it is traditionally. There are definitely quite a few things that do make it easier, like you can just go back and fix something and you don't have to worry about an eraser or something smearing, or, you know, that kind of thing. But long before I got my little art tablet, I used to draw traditionally all the time, and my art didn't look any better once I got my little art tablet. You know, it still takes time to improve your art. I mean, when I got my art tablet, my art was still the cringy weeb mess it was, as it was, you know, when I drew it on paper. It just, you know, was on a computer is all. Almost think of digital art like you already have all your tools there. Well, it also depends on the program you get, but you still have to learn how to use them, and you still, you know, have to learn how to draw. Digital is now done. So right now I am doing my traditional art, and I already sketched it, so right now I'm just lining it with a basic pen I just had lying around my house. I guess one of the downsides of it being traditional is you can't go back and, you know, make it bigger, and when I was sketching this, now that I'm looking back at it, I definitely think there's a few things I could have fixed, like changed the position slightly, because I feel like the head doesn't exactly look the same as the digital one, and it doesn't have quite as much personality as the digital one, but that's probably just because of the fact that, you know, it's traditional and it's not as high resolution and all that, but I still think some of the body proportions, like the head and stuff, could be fixed a bit. And, you know, when I drew this, it was when I literally just got done recording me drawing the digital one, and I just came back up here and tried to redraw it traditionally, so I wasn't even looking at a reference or anything, and just tried to do everything from memory. But hey, I guess traditionally I do my art in the steps it's supposed to be done, because when I draw digitally, I just straight up draw the head and all of that, and I don't even start off with sketching and line art. But it's definitely a lot easier to do sketching and then line art and then color traditionally. And I feel like the main reason it looks so patchy is because the majority of this character is, you know, black. But the black pencil I had was just like Crayola or Crazy Art or something, but every other pencil I had was Prismacolor, so the black pencil was not as good as quality as the Prismacolor pencils. And for the extra dark parts, like this character's hollowed out mouth, I just went in with the pen because there was no way my black pencil was going to be dark enough to be able to really tell a difference and, you know, where certain things are. And I still felt as if the skin and the shirt were a little too light in the end, but I didn't want to go through the trouble of, you know, trying to get all my stuff out and darkening it while I was already recording it and, you know, all that. So, yeah, this video was definitely a bit of a struggle, but I've been wanting to do this type of challenge for a while now, so I, you know, put up with it and decided to do it today. And I really do want to start doing a bit more challenges and stuff on this channel, so we'll have to see about that. And I'm not really sure that when I shade I do it right, but when I shade traditionally, I, use the color, but I don't like press it down all the way, so it's like it's lightest or medium point in the color, and then when I shade it, I like press it down harder, so it's more opaque and darker, but that's just how I do it. I don't know if that's how other people do it. That's just the way that makes more sense to me when I shade. But in another video, when I was talking about adding color into your shading, I tried to mix in a little bit of dark blue in with the shading, but it probably didn't turn up so much, but I tried my best to add more personality to the drawing, because it's definitely lacking. Like, you can especially tell a difference in the face region, because digitally it has very blue and purple shades kind of in the cheeks to give it more personality, like I said, and the highlight in the digital definitely stands out quite a bit, but traditionally you can't really see anything, even though I tried my best to add all that in there. But yeah, like I said, for highlighting, I just took a little bit of white paint on a small paintbrush and then like put dots of where I wanted highlighting, and then I just blended it out with a piece of tissue paper, and it doesn't stand out that much, but that's the best I could do for highlighting. And now I'm just about done. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope I see you next time.